I've always been a passionate person, a hard worker, a go-getter.
On this episode of Women Who Hustle, we sit down with the passionate, powerful, and purposeful Nancy Kganyago. Her story is one of resilience, strength, and courage. This is her story.
What's exciting in Nancy's world in the last week? I know what's been happening out there. I know about strikes. I know that there's COVID, but we want to talk really good things. What is the best thing that's happened to you in the last week? What is the good thing?
I guess I would say positive attitude in a way that regardless of what is happening around you, rather what is happening around the country, you must just always focus on the positive side, because normally if you can focus on those things, you will get distracted and lose your goal. So I would say that on my side, my focus is growing the business, regardless of what is happening around me. I always make sure that I network, I get as much information as possible to grow the company, if I can put it like that. I mean, obviously, there's always how can I put it? There's always a light, at the end of the tunnel. So it doesn't matter what's happening around you, either dark or sad, or you receive bad news or whatever. It's the way you take it as a person that it will obviously affect you. But if you decide to see the positive side of everything, so obviously your perspective will change. So we shouldn't allow things like this to obviously in any way affect our goals. We should always plan ahead. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but obviously we need to make an effort to make sure that, good things come out of any positive, negative thing that we see around us.
And yes. So you're such a positive person. You're such a positive person and such a,
okay.
forward and you're igniting my fire.
Okay.
Where did this positivity come from? Just can you tell us a bit about your background, how you grew up, and what made you like this? What made this Nancy?
I think it's just the charisma inside of me. Every person in life, you just you need to decide the path that you want to follow. And obviously, if you are gonna be the person that always want sympathy from other people, you are not gonna get anywhere. So you need to encourage yourself also. And I always say that your surroundings as well, your friends, your companions, you need to make sure that whoever is around you, obviously, is the person who motivates you. You need to get something from them as you give in as well, So I'm a person that grew, how can I put it? I've always been a passionate person, a hard worker, a go-getter. And I always make sure that, in life, when you get something, you need to work hard for it. You need to make sure that you're determined, and obviously the results will show at the end. I can say that I'm a person who always had how can I put it? I would say motivators, people who have always been encouraging me, and my sisters, the people that I come across. And I cannot say that I take advantage, but whenever I meet someone in life, I make sure that obviously is the person that we have the same charisma. So obviously, so that we can recharge each other, I can put it like that, in a way that's what kept me going as well, and I've always been having a passion in certain things. Yes. So obviously, when you are the person that studies hard, do a lot of research and things like that, follow the motivational quotes, reading books and all those things, you grow as a person. And obviously, as you grow, that's when you start to realize that, okay, there are things that we get in life, there are things that we lose in life. But at the end of the day, we need to build ourselves so that we can be, motivators, be great role models to the people that are still coming after us, or people that are looking up to us as well.
Right. You talk about reading books and whatnot. What did you study? What did you study at tertiary or varsity, or what did you study? Why did you study that?
I've done the commercial stream in high school. And then when I started now to go to varsity, I've registered for BCom in economics. But as the time goes on, I've actually realized that my passion lies in something else. So that's when now I chose the logistic. Yes, I chose the logistics. And I remember it was when was it? Around 2012. And that time, yes, I was still a student, but wanting to know more about this career. And that's when now I was employed by another company where I started working as a logistics administrator. And my passion for logistics and fleet started growing in there, because that's where now they were combining the logistics and fleet in the same department. So obviously, then I started growing in there. I started doing a lot of research, and I remember that time. Then I changed my degree, because I was doing economics, and I said, no, you know what? Now I'm gonna major in logistics and transport economics. That's where now my love for fleet started growing. And yeah, within that company, I was promoted, and I was given my the department to run. I was doing this whole thing by myself. And now you start to realize that, okay, there are certain things that can inspire you. So you realize that even your manager in your department, they can, instill fire in you. I didn't realize that I have such, how can I put it? I didn't realize that I have such fire in me. But when I was working in that company, that's where I realized that, you know what, when you love something and you have passion for something, obviously then it can grow into something big. And my love for fleet started from there. And I've never stopped. I've never looked back since then. Let us not limit ourselves. From what you know, it doesn't mean that you can always work for other people. But if it is something that you have learned over the years, you have grown to know how to do it, it's just going to be a walk in the park to you.
So how did you turn this love and this passion into your own business? How did that work? How did that happen?
From 2012, being able to study logistics and transport economics, you get to know the basics in terms of transportation. And obviously there are interests in there. There are, you get to grow and you get to learn on how things are done, because normally let's me give an example. In logistic company, you see trucks transporting goods going up and down, and now you start to realize, okay, it's not only that. There's an effort that was put into that. There's an experience, there's knowledge. Now they start telling you about the traveling cost. They start telling you about the fuel usage. They start telling you about all those things. They start telling you about the permits, the traveling permits. And you start to realize that, oh, okay, so now this becomes a love for doing things. When you start to have knowledge into something, you fall in love with it, because now everything to you, it becomes just a walk in the park. Let us not limit ourselves. From what you know, it doesn't mean that you can always work for other people as well. You have gained a lot of experience over the years. So on its own, you are an asset. So let's put this thing into practice. Let's put it down and see how far we can go doing this whole thing. That's where now I've met my business partner. And we have discussed that, let's start this thing and see how far we can go. And that's where now Lieutenant Motors was born. It was now brought into life, and yeah, it's now a company. It's now something that we can say that it's a product of the knowledge and the experiences that we have gained over the years.
As a woman, what are some of the misconceptions that you've come across in the motor industry? Like, some of the challenges that you've come across as a woman in that industry, because it's very male dominated.
People are so quick to can say things that obviously rather words that they cannot reverse at a later stage, to say, you are a woman, what can you tell me? Do you understand what I'm saying? When you say to somebody that, when last did you service your vehicle? It's like, yeah, I service my vehicle all the time. Are you even following the intervals? No, but I've serviced it like 10,000 kilometers away or something like that. And you start to ask yourself, but you should be servicing your car at 15,000. Why do you think that it has to be serviced now? Those are the things that, like I'm saying, that as a woman in the industry, you need to make sure that you have enough and more knowledge if needed be. Because obviously people will be looking at you like, but you are not a mechanic. You know what? You know about cars. It's not about fixing a car. It's not about repairing the car, but the knowledge can take you far. You can guide people in what you are doing, even though you don't physically repair the car yourself.
I hear you.
Yes,
I totally
yes,
hear you. It's just a matter of like keeping a step ahead and just making sure that you know exactly what you're doing and I guess becoming an expert better than all the men. I think so yes, yes. So here you are. You're in this industry that even I'm thinking to myself, wow, this woman is something else because you are definitely a superwoman to be in this industry. Um,
oh, superwoman, I can get used to that word.
yes, you are. You are. So you here you are. You've built this business. And when you say you started in 2019, obviously that's almost just pre-COVID, right?
Yes,
Um, and so clearly there've been a lot of challenges,
yes,
and despite the success, I'm sure you've also faced some failures,
yes.
times where you've made wrong decisions or decisions that you thought were going to work out but didn't. Tell us about some of those decisions. What are some of the failures and what did you learn from
I can say that determination and patience as well. Because I would say that COVID has affected a lot of businesses, and we are also part of that business that I can say that it was affected in a way. But motor industry, it's something else in a way that if you can see the way the economy is, whether there's COVID or there's no COVID, we see cars on daily basis on the road. So the customer base can obviously go a bit down, but it won't stop altogether. So even right now, if I can say to you that we can say the business is still slow because obviously our customer base hasn't obviously been as much as it used to be before COVID, but we still have customers. So the company is still running. So challenges that we come across every day, I can say that sometimes we come across difficult customers. We have such. I think in every business we have customers that don't want to pay. They expect excellent service. They expect good quality obviously parts to be used on their vehicles, but when they have to pay, they want to negotiate up to nothing. And you say to yourself, but we gave you the discount, we tried to work a suitable price for you, but the customer still doesn't get it, and the customer feels like you guys, I'm your customer. And obviously, looking at them, they think that obviously companies will become disparate. And obviously, when you are disparate for that customer, just one customer, to come in. But that doesn't mean that you obviously need to lose your commission that you're going to make, which you've already cut it in order for you to keep the customer. But I think that dealing with customer on its own, it's a challenge. It becomes a challenge on its own, but we overcome on daily basis, and we strive to build good customer relationship. So every now and then you keep on reminding customers about their payments that are due, the promises that they have made. Obviously there are customers that, like companies, that we obviously maybe fix their vehicles and they pay on 30 days notice account. There are customer that comes and obviously as individuals they come and pay there and there. So those are the kind of challenges that as a company we come across. And yeah, I would say that so far we are doing well. I don't want to complain and look on the bad side. The company is still running and we are pushing on daily basis. And we don't stop building the clientele. I keep on doing marketing myself. I market, I call companies, we knock at each and every door to make sure that we get the business, new businesses, new companies that can come on board, obviously, to support the business. Motivation when I started the online boutique was to promote the upcoming designers. I get inspired a lot when I see people having the idea of designing and being able to manufacture something.
you're such an interesting woman, right? Because here you
Interesting.
are talking about the automotive industry, the transport industry, logistics, and yet you have a business that is a boutique. How did that come about?
The boutique that I ran, honestly, it was to showcase and promote, I can say, South African talent. Obviously, I would say South African because
Mm-hmm.
when the company is still new, it's limited. But when it grows, then it can go broad. But the boutique on its own, it was to showcase and market the fresh talent. You know, there are people that are designers, they manufacture these things, but are not known. They are not being recognized by anybody. The idea and the dream to start the boutique was to make sure that there's no talent that is hidden. People need to know that if I want to buy an original leather bag, there is this person that designed the bag. It might not be a well-known brand, but eventually, if the quality is good, why not? Why can't we promote this person who's manufacturing, this thing, who created this thing, the mastermind behind this whole thing. So if you, the motivation when I started the online boutique was to promote the upcoming designers, local designers. And obviously, I would say that as the time goes on, I would go beyond, I would go abroad. As long as somebody says that I manufactured this myself, I've done this on my own, I have an inspiration, then, the boutique is for you. There's no way we cannot showcase you. The whole idea is to promote your work. People need to know that there are designers that manufactures things from.
My question is why jewelry? Why bags? I mean, if you wanted to promote South African talent, you could have maybe gone into music or maybe artists in terms of uh, 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 painters, or you could have gone into many different. But why fashion? Why jewelry? Why handbags?
Yes, I can say that as a person, I love beautiful things. And I get inspired a lot when I see people having the idea of, designing and being able to manufacture something and make it a final product. I get inspired a lot, and I love bags. I love beautiful things. I love quality stuff. I love jewelry. So those things are the things that inspire me a lot. But to be honest, it's not limited to jewelry and bags only. The big picture, the bigger picture is to say that if I can have any fresh talent, somebody who gets inspired to design and manufacture goods, something that can build them as a brand, come to the boutique. Let us showcase your work. Let us promote you as an individual. Let us promote you as a person. Let the country know about you. That's where the idea comes from. But I cannot say that I don't have the love for fashion. I have the love for fashion. I have the love for jewelry. I have love for fancy stuff. And I have love for designer. Oh my God, I don't know. Yes.